What If, episode 5. So this is the zombie episode of What If. Here, the people from Ant Man fucking up things again for the universe.
Yeah. Whenever something goes wrong, you can probably blame Hank Pym.
Yeah. So in this one, so a zombie.
Just like how Tony Stark keeps creating new Spider-Man villains, Hank Pym keeps creating new apocalypses.
Did anybody? So did you guys ever read the What If comics before, the zombies comics specifically?
Uh, I read a few of the I've read a few kind of standalone issues of the What If comics. I read I think a couple volumes of Marvel Zombies, but I think Marvel Zombies it's more portrayed as like a joke. It's like a joke comic. It's like okay, how far can we take this? Especially hiring Robert Kirkman to write Marvel Zombies.
Oh, I didn't know he wrote the Marvel Zombies. Okay, that's very interesting.
Mhm.
There. So with this one, so the surviving kind of crew of the zombie apocalypse that happens because it gets introduced with Mark Ruffalo, being dropped from space. The Hulk. Very much so. It's
Yep,
basically the start
that
of.
yeah that Yeah, that same scene from Infinity War where he's like dropped back into the Sanctum Sanctorum. Except this time, it's empty. The streets are completely empty.
Yeah, you know what I mean. There's a much larger threat there, and everybody's basically turned to a zombie thanks to Hank Pym going in when he tried to save his wife. She had been infected by a quantum virus that turned her into a zombie. She infected him. They came back, and then they proceeded to infect everybody on Earth. So the surviving kind of crew that you have that are fighting against that are trying to find a cure. You have Spider Man here, who's voiced by Josh Keaton, who people know he.
Oh, it's actually not Josh Keaton doing
Oh,
the voice. That was some stuff that leaked and it caught traction, and Keaton signed an NDA, so he of course he can't really say no, guys, it's not me.
oh, okay.
Yeah, he's voiced instead by his actor Hudson Thames, who I did not catch that it wasn't Tom Holland for a while.
Yeah, he does sound. Yeah, he did kind of get a little bit kind of Tom Holland as well. There, those vibes as well. I'm curious as why they just didn't have Tom Holland do the voice since he's signed already with Marvel. He's going to do more stuff with them anyway. I'm curious why they just didn't have him come in and do the voice. But so you have Spider Man, you have the Wasp, so you got Hope Van Dyne. Is Hope Van Dyne voiced by Evangeline Lilly, or is it voiced? It looks like it sounded like it was
I
someone else.
think she is. Nope, it's her voice, Evangeline Lilly.
Okay, so it's Evangeline Lilly there. You also
Yeah,
have.
pretty much everybody except Tom Holland and Chris Evans came back to do voices. So it's all the cast from the MCU.
Okay. So so you have so you have the Wasp, Hope Van Dyne, you have Spider Man, you have Okoye, and you also have the character from Ant Man. You have Kurt, who was the Baba Yaga guy, the Russia guy. You got him here.
Oh, David fucking Dasmalchian, aka the real life Walker.
Yeah, and also Happy Hogan as well. He's here. Sharon Carter's here. The Winter Soldier, Bucky's here. So they're kind of like the surviving crew there that's left. It's interesting the people they picked to be a part of the kind of the survivors there. That was kind of interesting. And then you see what happens to the Avengers. They come out all heroic, like, okay, guys, get ready. And then all of a sudden it's just over like that. It just they just get overrun in seconds. I thought that was kind of funny. That was pretty good there. Yeah, so that was kind of interesting. They kind of the people they chose there, and then how they're it's like kind of that zombie movie thing of them trying to go to a location. I was like, we hear that there's a cure, we can go here, we go find it, and it kind of was kind of the setup for this episode. What did you guys think about it?
Ooh, damn! I just love. I'm absolutely loving this series. I wasn't too crazy about the first episode, but since then, every single one past that has been of great to spectacular for me. This one especially. This one because you have this sandbox where you can play around and there's no consequences to your story. You can do basically anything you want, and it does get a little zombie tropey, but I think the animation and the and the performances from the voice cast, it's they keep it light enough while at the same time being so grim that it's become a great standalone zombie short.
Yeah. Dusk, what about you?
So, I thought it was fine. I appreciated the little comedy moments. It's very clear. The original What Ifs for the zombies and the whole zombie thing is very gory in the comics. Really, really gory. It's also really dark and really screwed up.
Marvel Zombies, it got really edgelordy, really.
It did really kind of not. So it started off as kind of like a fun What If series, and then it got real, kind of in the border a lot. It got really early, like you said, to Lord where it was like, oh, this isn't fun anymore. Yeah, this was fun at first. Now it's not fun. I'm just watching people suffer. I'm watching what was it like? This? It's like that dumb anime, the one where like zombie high school or something like that. And it's like a guy who used to draw hentai manga, and then they gave him an anime series, and so it's like sexual-esque, but people are dying horribly. It's just not. Yeah, it's just like this isn't fun. You missed the point.
What have you thought about?
On the other hand,
what have you thought about What If? Kind of like overall, like if, the episodes in general. Like if you had to rank them.
So honestly, so my major problem, regardless of how well those specials are, What Ifs to me always seem like they're kind of like fun, but they're always fun little small ideas. Because ultimately, when you remove the whole point of a character and say, "Oh, what if Star-Lord was actually T'Challa?" and then this, and like, okay, that's cool. That's a neat like what if. This can't go any further than that little what if though, because we created a character in a universe, and it defeats the point if this didn't happen. And because that didn't happen, none of this happens, and maybe makes for a less inferior story.
Yeah, but that's kind of the point of what if.
Oh no, I know. Oh, I know.
And how does that affect the rest of this?
Sure. No. I completely get that. But even just from, I'm just explaining from that point of view. I've always kind of like So I've always been a person with an kind of thing. If that's your thing, that's cool. I thought overall they did a solid job. I think probably my favorite was probably Peggy Carter, just because I like Peggy Carter as a character, and it's like, well, at least you got to make our old boy Captain America proud. Kept on doing stuff. The second one I wasn't too big of a fan of, but the third one was not bad. And then the zombies one, I like Peter Parker. I like the dynamic that he had with Wasp. They kind of had like a brother-sister vibe going on, and it was really nice. It was nice seeing other characters interact that usually we haven't seen them really interact.
Yeah.
So if not just for that alone, it's interesting. It's an interesting watch for the most part for the what ifs. They're just neat little vignettes that you can be like, oh well, it's interesting to see what these characters would have done in this scenario. Would I watch them again? Not necessarily. They were like a nice little. Oh, okay. Maybe once in a while I'll watch them.
Yeah, I think with a lot of these what ifs, there's like a very interesting route that Marvel could take. I mean, there are some stories that they very well could follow up with. Like, I would love to see. They do kind of hint how a sequel to this zombie storyline will go towards the end, but they also hint that some of these stories are going to interact later. Like in one of the teasers, you see the evil Doctor Strange interacting with Peggy Carter.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, to see kind of where this series is going to go, because we have 4 more episodes left? Because it's
4 more episodes from this season, and it looks like it's already confirmed second.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it looks like they're going to do a second season of this, given how much interest there is for this show. With this episode, I think it did have good, kind of gore in it. As much as they can kind of get.
It got as gory as you could, while as gory
Pretty
as did
much.
allow it to go.
Yeah.
Hey, as long as the blood isn't red, then you can get as gory.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much.
'cause some reason. Yeah, because some reason the MPAA is totally cool with that.
Yeah, it's like yeah. There's
It's
zombies.
green blood or nightmare blood. It's all good as long as it's not red.
Yeah.
That's how Samurai Jack got past all the censors.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. So I think it kind of was as gory as you can expect it to be. To be on Disney Plus, cartoons. So be Marvel. It's probably as good as you're gonna get that way. And they do some good deaths. I mean, they split. I mean, the Falcon in half. You know what I mean? Koi does that. And that was kind of a funny moment, where she talked, to Bucky about it. And, him and Bucky kind of got like a rivalry kind of going on. Who can win Cap's heart the fastest?
It was like that fucking joke. It was like, yes, very sad. Anyway.
Yeah. And Elijah's in the chat. He says, my 2 cents. I feel this way. This was my most anticipated episode. Was super let me down. The Marvel humor and the grim setting absolutely does not mix. Peter Parker and other characters barely express loss or emotion. So that's a very interesting point that Elijah brought.
That actually is a very good point.
Yeah, that's a good point, but I think a lot of that is owed to short runtime. I feel like this episode, it could be 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel that way with a lot of the What If episodes.
I feel like with a lot of the What If episodes, I think the one episode that really utilized the 30-minute space the best is the second episode. I think that one, like, you really just, because it was like an episode kind of like, a little bit like a Firefly or something like that, where it's just like, okay, short, like a little space adventure. It was simple concept, the heist, boom, you get done. And then the other ones is like, I think you need to tack on a little bit, 10 more minutes, 20 more minutes, this. I think this probably needed a little bit more time to kind of flesh out a lot more stuff. And, a lot of the moments in here are supposed to be like a lot of very serious moments, especially, between like Bucky and Cap. How close that relationship is. And I don't think you really felt the impact of that, of, Bucky having to get rid of Cap. I don't think you felt that as much impact. He leaves kind of with a little kind of line of where he goes kind of like it's in the end of the line, which is supposed to be like a real emotional moment between the two of them, that connection that they have. And I just don't think you feel that in this.
Yeah, and I think the episode's too short, so you can't really feel the weight of a lot of characters. Because in true zombie film fashion, a lot of characters die in this.
Yeah, like you see a lot of kind of surviving kind of members, the people you get introduced to, they kind of get picked off one by one like a zombie film. When they finally go, because we're going to do spoilers for this episode as well. We're going to get into kind of spoilers as well. So when they finally, go and think like, okay, we're going to be safe. We're going to find this cure there. When they're going to be doing that, Vision is there. And Vision is there, and he kind of is basically luring them into a huge trap. And and then you also see Scott Lang there, who's basically got his Futurama head going on, just in a glass jar.
Elijah, he brought up the with the grim setting. With Scott Lang's Ant-Man, that didn't bother me one bit. I just love the character of Scott Lang, and especially all the dad jokes. I laughed. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
So that's a thing that they bring up in the episode, like that conversation with between Hope and Peter. It's like, how do you stay so upbeat? Hey, you gotta keep smiling for them.
Yeah. I mean, I thought, and like Dust mentioned, the interaction that characters have that you don't really see interact, like the Wasp and like Spider-Man. So you haven't really seen. I don't think they have a scene where they've ever interacted before. So to see them kind of interact here, that was kind of cool, and to see like it's kind of like kind of big sister little brother type of relationship a little bit there, of Hope really trying to lead things, and Hope, I think can be a better or bigger character than she is right now. Hopefully as things continue with the MCU.
Yeah, make no mistake, she is the baddest motherfucker in the Ant-Man movie. and both the first one and Ant-Man and the Wasp, they make no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Yeah, yeah. I'd love to see her play, a bigger role, like in the Avengers films and more in there.
Yeah,
I'd love to see her there.
yeah. Not just for Jonathan Majors. I'm hyped to see her Quantumania.
Yeah. And so when they kind of get there, meet Vision, they learn of what he's been doing. So that's always kind of like a horror movie, zombie movie thing. You find out there's some psycho who's been keeping, maybe one of the zombies there, and like maybe it was a relative, a loved one that they've been feeding them. That's always kind of like a common zombie movie thing. She's been, she's been feeding, he's been feeding Scarlet Witch some dark meat. He's been cutting off T'Challa. He's been getting the chicken leg, getting the guy's thigh meat. Been going on. Been feeding her that. And so you kind of have that. T'Challa again is voiced by Chadwick Boseman in this. He's going to be in some more episodes up and down the line. What did you guys think of the ending and where it kind of led to there?
I didn't have an issue with the ending. I think it did a good job of showing how intimidating the Vision could be, and a lot of what led him to the light was the influence of Banner and Tony in his initial introduction, and a lot of what helped him was his love for Wanda. And I think when it's corrupted, like when she becomes a zombie, and that happens, like sometimes that character in zombie movies can't bring themselves to do the right thing and put him down.
Dust?
Yeah, pretty much what Nick said.
Yeah. And just very much in zombie movie fashion, you think like just when they have that hope gets snatched away again, where you see a zombie Thanos waiting for them in Wakanda. It makes me think though.
Them with 5 or 6 Infinity Stones.
Yeah. But I had a question kind of about that. Like the whole reason Thanos went to Wakanda in the first place was because Vision was there. So like, why would he be there and Vision wasn't there? Because he's looking for the Mind Stone. So I was kind of wondering about that. If I guess he was tracking them already.
Well, in this, I think it's implied that a lot of the zombies, they still retain like memories and stuff. It's why a lot of them can still. It's why a lot of the super zombies can still use their power. Like Zombie Strange and Wong, they're still using magic.
Okay. So is it a situation where Thanos was tracking them all the way to Wakanda, and he knew that they were going to come with the Mind Stone, and like he'd been tracking the Mind Stone?
I think so. Could be a plot hole, but at the same time, that last shot is so cool that I wouldn't take it away.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
that's a common thing in zombie films, especially the most recent example I can think of is Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead, where they get on the boat and they get to the island, but a home movie reveals that, hey, it's already overrun.
Yeah. I was thinking the exact same thing. Yeah, watching that scene, they're very much like that scene. Yeah, and Dawn of the Dead, which we reviewed with Army of the Dead a very while back for Zack Snyder, looking at his catalog there. This episode overall, I think it's pretty good. I mean, as far as ranking the episodes so far, I still have the T'Challa episode as number 1 for me. I think this is probably number 3. The Doctor Strange episode is number 2. And what other episode am I missing there? It was the one, the Assassin Murder Mystery episode. That was for me the 4th, and then I'd say the Peggy Carter episode for me was the last one. Any final thoughts on it? This episode?
Yeah, I think this is probably my 3rd favorite episode of the ones that have come out. I'd put it 4, 3, 5, 2, 1. But even all of them, besides the Peggy Carter episode, I give them 8 and above.
Okay. What about for you, Dusk? You think this is a pretty strong episode for you?
It is one of the more, at least, trying to be ballsy episodes, and I'll give it that. I'm almost kind of like, if you can't go all the way with it, why bother? But I understand that, hey, this is just what they wanted to try and do, and why not? So I
Mm.
don't know. The whole what ifs have been kind of okay. I haven't had a great or bad reaction to any of them, so I'm like, okay, they're all pretty good. I'll give them all. They're mostly just 6 out of 10s to me.
Mm.
Even
Okay.
stuff that I like.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been really too blown away by what if episodes, but I think they're just fun. I mean, I think it's what they are like, kind of a
Right.
joy to watch, and I think that's what kind of what these are supposed to be. They're not supposed to be maybe something that you would see on the level of like their live action shows like WandaVision or Captain America and the Winter Soldier. A thing of Loki. It's supposed to be nice, kind of enjoyable kind of stuff that you're supposed to consume and go like, oh, this is a fun kind of thing. Yeah.